okay, mate. Sorry for the late reply. First off, I was away at the weekend there for a bit. Had to take the missus away, spent some time with her and stuff, which was lovely. But yeah, nice to see the markets hasn't moved too much. They have bounced back after that bad the FUD crash from USDT. Bounced back a little bit, but yeah, new week tomorrow. Let's have a look here. But the alarm is interesting. Now, yeah, thoughts for a long. Now, I don't know if you mean a long for a longer term or short term or day trade or whatever, but 3 day 51.7 broke. That is also interesting. Now, it's I know it's 2 days ago, but let's look anyway. So, this is a very interesting pressure cooker. Okay, now we failed. There is a failure here. This is a failure, and once you break back below the white 100. That pattern now becomes bearish. Right here, this is an attempt to break up, but we are bearish now below the white 100 according to pressure cooker rules, and we need to obviously try and find out where the bottom is and be aware that this is now bearish. So with that in mind, let's look through a few time frames. I'm going to actually jump to the yearly just to start. The yearly is red. You can see where that marked and where that started to be bearish. Of course, it was a little bit bearish. I'm going to mark the yearly open there. I just want to see what that was. Right. A couple of things. There's a bearish yearly stop hunt as well on top. Okay, so maybe I'll mark that a different color. I'll mark that green as well, because the green is the yearly open. The top one is the yearly bearish stop hunt. Okay, so as long as it's red on the year, technically it's bearish. We also have a bearish yearly stop hunts, which is not good. Kind of meaning that this may need a new year before we actually get any real moves. Now, if we do flip the 6 months chart, now this was a beautiful drop into here. We bounced up again from this, but we are now forming a decent 6 month candle, right? You have to say that it is decent. We did say that it was bearish when it fell below here again, because below there was the pressure cooker. It does now mean that the 6 months chart is flipping red, which is not ideal. There's your yearly open, and here's your bearish yearly stop hunt level. Okay, so it is struggling. It is getting this natural pullback. Now, if we do flip some, throw some fibs on it, for example, well, we can see we've dropped perfectly here into the 78% retrace. Here was the golden pocket right in here, the 50%, 61% right down here. So the retrace was fairly normal, you'd have to say. It's not uncommon, you know, it's pretty normal to get that 78% retrace down into here. So, you know, looking at these 6 month candles, a lot of times, now we're a long way from it. We have 3 months left here. We have 2 months, two months and 5 days, I should say. But a lot of times you see this, you know, it may need a new year, and then on a new year, a new 6 month candle, it can start to get that real move up again as this continues to form a bottom. It's not set in stone yet, but I'm just pointing to the fact that, well, yeah, dips into this sort of area are where liquidity lies currently on the chart. If we just flip to a daily just to have a look at where those areas are, there is major liquidity down just a little bit lower down into this area, but that liquidity is usually taken on a new year. It doesn't have to be taken on a new year, to be honest, but a lot of times it is taken on a new year down into this area. So it's okay here, but at some point it is suggesting at some point it may go a bit lower. Now, the other thing on a weekly chart, this is not a great weekly candle, right? Like you can see here, this weekly candle, we ended up going lower, even if it was just a bullish stop hunt. This large weekly candle, we went lower. This one we didn't, but that was after a bad run. You can see this first one, we ended up going lower. Even the second big one, we went lower. This one right here, well, there's a wick on top and a wick on bottom. It's kind of different, but this one here, bearish engulfing, is similar to what we get now. The bounce back went lower. Okay, are we going to get a bounce back for lower? If you're looking to trade the new short term, well, if you see a bullish weekly stop hunt tomorrow in 7 hours time, a bullish weekly stop hunt is a buy on this, right? To then trade this to the long side in the short term. I don't know if you want a short term trade, but it may open the door for a short term trade for a bounce back higher. Kind of like here. All right. The new week then did have a bounce into it, and then we went lower. This one here, a large weekly candle, red weekly candle, it ended up going lower. Well, we did stop on lower, so buying below that candle again wasn't a bad point to be buying. So I'm just kind of suggesting in the near term, if there is a bullish weekly stop hunt, possibly buying just below here, somewhere here, might actually present a very good opportunity to be buying down here for a bounce, and that is in 7 hours time. I didn't see the alarm that went off that you talked about. I'm not sure. The chart is suggesting down here on a new 6 month, but the problem is with trying to make that prediction now, we still have 2 months left in the price action, so a lot of things can change in two months. So we do need to be looking again come closer to Christmas or whatever. These are all extremely high time frame sentiments. They're dropping, but we have been dropping, of course. This is actually starting to rise very slowly here on the daily, but no major strength yet. You can see in the actual natural bottom here, this sentiment was starting to rise and the price was going lower. A beautiful bullish divergence, and then we got that real bull market. I mean, when you say a real bull market, it's a 5x higher. But these opportunities will come around often, and we will be able to capitalize on these just by using sentiment. You can see it's rising massively here, and this price is dropping, implying that this base is getting accumulated in a way, and then you get the real move. So we see these a lot of times in crypto, and we need to keep our eyes out for them. Currently this is 1000, this is 500, 400, 300 and 200. I just want to point out here, these are smaller time frames. Now this is sorry, I didn't change it yet. This is 1000, okay, but we're on a 10-minute chart. This is rising, okay. So what I'm getting at is, if there is that bullish weekly stop hunt below these lows, like we talked about, it might, if this does go down again and give us that opportunity, it may then give us a decent bounce, because sentiment is rising on all of these. Like if you look here, this is rising sharply, and we are trying to now find bullish sentiment in the market for at least a short-term bounce. There is also a possibility that the low is already in here, but by trading a new weekly candle, we can try and see if this is going to get some strength. Another bullish stop hunt would be ideal, but we already have that stop hunt, so I'm not sure if it's going to give the second one. It's still red on the day here, 0.5% down. Most likely okay to trade the new weekly candle. Earlier when I said they were 1000, they were not 1000, because the 1000 and all doesn't work here. They were actually the lower time frames. This is on a daily chart, and this is 1000, this is 500, this is 500, 400, 300, 200. Okay, so you can see that they did start dropping off sharply. What was very interesting and telling was that we had a beautiful bearish stop hunt up here, but that sentiment was down here. We had already dropped massively, and there was no buy pressure up here. So by watching that sentiment a long time ago, it could have helped you take profits up here, or even better up here. Look at this. This is a very poor sentiment here. Kind of is telling you that this pressure cooker on the daily chart might actually fail because there's no buyers left, or at least very poor sentiment. Yeah. Now currently, this is decent. There is a bullish daily stop hunt right here. That's what you want to see. It leaves the door open for a new daily candle. Hopefully it doesn't run before that, but it leaves the new door for a new daily candle to get some sort of bounce back in here. So you were saying there's alarms going off for a buy. Well, technically now this is bullish above this. Did I click the wrong thing there? Above the stop hunt level, this is technically now bullish. We already looked at that stop hunt on the 10-minute time frame. So this is interesting, yes, for a short-term bounce. I think in a new day it is worth watching to try and trade this, either buying into liquidity, hopefully it doesn't move before that, or if we're getting that weakness on Monday, there might be one more flush, so we need to see that. But the first level to watch is in here. If we do get another flush down into here, there might be a bullish weekly stop hunt that then could create that bounce. And bounces even here on the daily, for example, there's a 7 or 8%. If we get the weekly one, maybe there might be bigger bunches up to 15 or 20%. Then I would be concerned that there could be more downside because how poor the weekly was. But we need to see how that goes. Yeah, 10 minutes, mate. I'll cut this off here, but definitely worth watching this in the near term. We will keep an eye on this on a new day.